my second win.
Welcome to another episode of I Am the Change podcast, brought to you by Dreams to Reality Incorporated, a nonprofit organization geared toward uplifting, inspiring, and empowering communities all over the world. I am your host, Mychal Davis, alongside Mr. Jason Redmond.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good. I just realized I don't have on my glasses, so I know I can see everybody, but I left my glasses off today. I'm going with the no glasses look.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm seeing you without the glasses.
Hey man, look, I haven't had them on all day, so I've really been, with no glasses to the headphones. I'm going brand new today. I'm going with the new stuff.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for today's episode. I'm really excited. We got somebody that I personally know from back like 9th grade, 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? We go back to high school days, and it's nice to see the growth. Where she has come. She's become an author. We're gonna talk about that. She's a social worker, so she's doing great work in her profession. She's an all-around just great person. She has a podcast of her own, which is amazing. So without further ado, Miss Dayna Haskins, how you doing?
Hello, guys. Hello.
Hey, Dayna Haskins, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh gosh, thank you for coming on. Look, I'm so usually I'm in the position I get to say how excited I am because I know the person, but this time I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh my gosh. I'm ready. I got all the questions. I want all the smoke. I want to hear it. Like the first thing first I want to find out is social worker. Like what made you be a social worker?
Life experiences.
Oh, I got it.
So, just different things that I've experienced growing up. I have experienced trauma, life challenges. So I always said, like, I want to be a DCF social worker. I want to be on the other end. I want to be a worker to make a difference.
What's DCF stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry. So it's different, like in every state. So it's called the Department of Children and Families. So I'm an ongoing social worker for the Department of Children and Families in Massachusetts. So not even where I live, but in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow. So you're on all the time. Like you're always on.
So hours can be crazy. I do have the flexibility now of working from home, due to COVID and everything. However, the hours can be crazy. I try to limit my phone messages on the weekend just because I like to take that self-care for myself.
Right.
But it gets crazy.
Wow.
Now, how was that COVID adjustment? With your hours and everything.
So honestly, I was surprised. I was like, when they were like, oh, we're gonna, work from home, do everything video. And I'm like, how can you do this job from a phone? Like it didn't make sense to me at all, but it's doable.
Okay.
It's doable. It's doable. So I FaceTime my families. We use different things, FaceTime, Zoom, Google Duo, WhatsApp, different things of that nature. I also have coworkers who, if I can't see my families in person, they'll go out, they'll help, their support. But it's just a lot of messaging, a lot of phone calls, a lot of video attempts. It's heavy.
But it was harder. Do you think it was harder to connect with the kids and the families because of the way you were communicating now?
I would say it's definitely harder because, like, say I had a family who didn't respond to my phone call or text message. I would pop up at their house, right?
Oh, wow.
They would be there, they would open the door, whatever. Now it's like me working from home and I have to message them so many times. I have to call them so many times and they'll make it quick. Like I had a mom last week say, I gotta go, I got an appointment. So she literally like scanned her kids really quickly, like on the video call. And I'm like, no, I have to talk to them. Like I need a couple minutes. Like I gotta see them. I gotta make sure they are right. So I would say it's definitely harder just because they know it's phone contact too. So they're like, you can't see everything that's in my house. You can't see, you know what I'm saying? So they feel like they're more in control. If that makes sense.
I can imagine that, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Because if I'm not mistaken, without the contact without the seeing this child, talking to the child, they can get their services cut off, if I'm not correct.
So yes, it depends. So I did actually have a case last summer where they were dodging me. Like they were
Mhm.
like, stop harassing me, stop.
Wow.
So we got to the point where we assessed it. Okay, are the kids up to date?
Mhm.
The family is, refusing to do X, Y, and Z. So we did come to a clinical decision of closing the case. However, we try to keep it open. Like if we do get resistance, as long as we can, so that way we're making our attempts and we're not missing anything. But yeah, we've had that happen. It doesn't happen too often, but it's happened.
So let me ask this question, because you said you've had trauma. So I know when you experience certain things and you have to correlate what you went through to what a young person might be going, or a young family might be going through now. Do you have a sense of empathy or sympathy for that family that kind of, I would think, separates you from your colleagues, that makes you more open or makes you more understanding and try a little harder, or give people second or third chances because of what you've gone through?
Oh, most definitely. So I'm gonna try to condense it and not make it as long. But
Take your
I
time.
always say, okay,
Take your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say I'm not your average social worker. It's so many different reasons why I say that, but some things that I see, I'm like, oh, okay, that happened when I was a kid growing up. Like, let me go a little bit easier. Let me come from a different perspective.
Mhm.
No one likes DCF, child services, whatever you call it in any state. No one likes it. They hate it. It's like the worst thing ever, right?
Right.
And social workers, we're not therapists, right?
Right.
We're It's hard for us to come from a clinical standpoint because we have to do a specific job. And sometimes for me, that job can come off as if I'm being a cop. And there are times where I don't like it. I'm like,
Understand.
I know you don't want me to ask you this, you don't want me in your business, but I have to. Like I have to do
Right.
this. I have to make sure, we're ensuring the kids are safe and different things of that nature. But I definitely have sympathy, for my families with a lot of the different things that, they deal with. So, having a family who has experienced losing their kids due to drugs, right? So, talking with them, letting them know, like, do this, stay sober for, just given a time frame, it can
Mhm.
vary, 6 months.
Right. Right.
We'll look at changing the goal from, adoption to reunification and, different things of that nature, or, dealing with a family who struggles with maybe keeping their house clean or something like that. Like
Mhm.
I feel like there are certain things that you can support the family with, so you're not leading them for failure,
I
basically.
gotcha.
Like
Gotcha.
having us involved, they already feel like a failure, right? They already
Right.
feel like they're doing something wrong, or they may not be a good parent. So I like to be as transparent with my families as possible and say, look, this is what we're looking for.
Mhm.
Can you do this different? Can you change this? Because, and I'll be honest, I'll say this, schools, for example, right?
Right.
They'll call and make reports saying something like, I don't know, just gonna make something up. So and so comes to school every day, he doesn't have a coat.
Okay.
Well, can you get
Okay.
the child a coat before you
Yeah. Simple. Yeah.
call and
Yeah.
say, you know what I'm saying? And now the mom is neglecting the child because we don't know the mom's financial situation. We
Right.
don't know if
Right.
somebody stole the person's coat. Like
Yeah.
we just don't
Absolutely.
know.
Mhm.
And I'll just be transparent with you guys. I love what I do. It has its days where I'm
I can
like, okay,
imagine.
wow, am I doing enough? But there are other times where it does feel rewarding, but I know that I can't do it for the rest of my life.
Right.
I would prefer to come from a more clinical standpoint and help in a different way. Like my passion, my goal is to have a nonprofit organization, a safe
Mhm.
space for kids, adults,
Mhm.
whoever, it doesn't matter, to come in, to talk, to like just unload some things. They can also come, donations and different things of
Mhm.
that nature, because I just feel like a lot of our families are not heard or given the
Gotcha.
opportunity to make a change. You know, like it's not always so black and white with certain things.
Right,
As
right.
you know, compared
Yeah.
to not having a coat, compared to somebody, you know, using drugs and, you know, different things like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some
So hopefully
life
that answers
skills.
your question.
No. Hey man, yeah. I mean, hey, to give us a long version, that's fine. Because you said something about you want to start a nonprofit. Funny you say that. I know a guy that has a nonprofit, and I'd love to put you guys in contact. And
I know a guy
maybe,
too.
hey, maybe we can
I know
put it
that
in
guy.
contact.
Listen, I love the networking and the connections. I'm open. Connect me to whoever.
Yeah,
Please.
because I think it'd be a great opportunity. Because I think what you're saying is those families they could be stigmatized. They could be looked at as if, you know, quote unquote, a bad parent. But it could be something as simple as, like you said, the guy lost the jacket, left it at school. The jacket's at school. Nobody ever went to Lost and Found to find the jacket. I know. You go to elementary school today. There's not today, but you go to elementary school back in the day when school was open. Man, there are thousands of pieces of
Hats,
clothing.
gloves, everything.
Yeah. Man,
Absolutely.
children today leave stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I commend you for what you're doing. That program, that right there, is a definite need, because I think the less fortunate and the hopeless, they don't have a voice and they need somebody to speak up for them and give them a platform. So I'm gonna get with Mychal and make sure that you get in contact with that guy that owns that nonprofit, because I'm pretty sure he would love to get you on board with his organization and run that program through his company.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's
Awesome. I
do got a
definitely
question.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
No
I
problem.
do got a
No problem.
question though. Now, do you work with any kids that have been separated from their families?
Yes. So I don't, so what we call it CMP. So child and protection.
Mhm.
So I don't have many of them, thankfully. I'm so grateful for this. I have two families who their kids are in care. One family has 4 kids in care, the other family has 1. And unfortunately, when I go back to work on Tuesday, we may be removing 4 more kids. But I don't have many of those cases. So my caseload can go up to 20 to 22. Right now I'm at 17. So all of my families, all the kids are home, thankfully. All I have to do is do my monthly check-ins, make sure everything's going okay and everyone's being compliant. But the other 2 families that I have, you know, it's a little bit more work that has to be done. But so I only was working this job for like a little over a year and a half. And those families were already removed prior to me getting the case. So now it's just me working with them to get them back to a good point. This one family that I have, they actually removed the kids. So the goal was reunification. The parents unfortunately didn't make progress. So after a year, we removed the goal again. So now it's at adoption. However, it can go back to reunification. The parents have been making a lot of progress. So we're going to talk this month to revisit their goal to change it back. But yeah, definitely kids, unfortunately. I had another case where 2 kids almost got removed because there was a domestic between the mother and the father in the home. So we safety plan, like, hey, go get your kids right now. Like I had to literally tell one of my moms, like, go get them or else they get them removed. Like, hurry up. You know, she was able to go do that. You know, we planned, problem solved. I check in monthly with them, and you know, things seem to be going, you know, pretty good for the most part. But yeah, kids get removed all the time. I went to a removal one time. I went to one to like support one of my coworkers, and I wanted to cry so bad. It was crazy. They were in tears. The whole family was outside. It was bananas.
So in situations like that, when a child gets removed, of course, I know the child is sad, but how do you work with that child to gain, I guess I want to say gain the child's trust, or to get that child to open up and speak and talk to you and kind of express themselves of how they're feeling? Because I know if I was that child got removed from the crib, I'm like, mom's the word, take me home and I'll talk to you. But other than that,
right. So I haven't really had any situations to where I physically removed any of my kids on my case to where I had to rebuild that trust, right? So I actually find it harder with the kids who, older kids, not really the younger ones, because they're kind of easy to like, talk to and stuff like that. But the older ones, like just me even being involved with them, I don't want to talk to you. Like literally getting that backlash. And it's like, all right, well, I got to do my job, got to make sure you're all right. But for the kids that are removed, it's hard because I'm naturally clinical, right? So there's certain things that I can't address with them. Right. There's certain things that I have to resort back. Okay, they have to follow with their therapist, or whoever's on their team. I can't address certain things. Like I have another case where the child has experienced, some possible sexual abuse. I can't touch certain things pertaining to that. If the child discloses to me, I can, comfort them in the moment, let them know that they're safe and different things of that nature. But I can't dive into it as if I'm their therapist.
I understand.
So it takes a constant, right. So it takes the constant month in and month out, just building that relationship by saying hello, asking them how they are, what are their favorite toys, what do they like to eat, and engaging in that conversation with them to build that trust. Like before the pandemic, I was picking these kids up. So the kids that were in care. So taking them to their doctor's appointments, like we were the point person to do that. But now that I'm working from home, I don't get to do that anymore. So it's kind of just like, like they know who I am, but they don't see me as often as they used to see me. So
I can imagine that's a huge difference. Because like, I mean, I was in foster care. Like, I don't know if you knew it, but in 9th grade, I was in foster care because I got removed from the home. Not too many people knew it. I was staying with Dom for a little bit, and I was in and out of group home. But I know if I had a social worker like you willing to, really engage like that, it'd been a whole different ballgame. Because I was running away when I first got in. I didn't trust my social worker at all, and it took real time to build that trust. So I can imagine that difference, just not being there is, that's huge.
And I'm glad you brought that up. And I had no idea that, you experienced that. I've worked in other fields as well before DCF. So they prepped me for this. And I've dealt with kids who say, I don't like my DCF worker. My DCF worker don't talk to me. I've worked in a group home before with, young girls, and they're like, my DCF worker, she don't do nothing. He don't do nothing. They don't care about me. Da, da, da. And it's so sad because I'm comparing Connecticut, where I live, to the social workers where I work at in Massachusetts, because some of the ones in Connecticut are not that great. Like, one thing I say, I don't know how a social worker cannot see their kid. I'm checking in, like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Like, are there any concerns? Is there anything going on? Like, how can you just not be there? So I know that they're not physically my kids, but I'm looking at it like you're my kid, like, So that's hard. That can be challenging. And I can see what you're saying, Mychal, about, building that trust, and it takes time.
Absolutely.
Because you're looking like, okay, you took me. Why would I want to talk to you? Why would I want anything to do with you?
You're the enemy. You're the enemy.
You're the guy that took me away from I was good.
I get it all the time. And it's so funny because a lot of people don't think about it this way, or maybe they do think about it this way, but they don't care. Whoever files the report, right? They have to have a meeting to say whether or not it should be screened in. And I've been a part of these meetings before. Once that happens, it gets assigned to an investigator. They investigate it for however many days. If they feel that it is something that needs ongoing attention, that's where I come in. So you going through like a couple of processes before you even get to me. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I didn't do it. Yeah. So look, you working in social service. You live in Connecticut and you work in Massachusetts, right? And you're from North Carolina. I'm because you're
from New York.
From New York.
From New York. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to say it because I hear the accent, but I don't want to be.
Mychal remembered.
I don't want to be biased. I want to be biased. So, question: you said you don't want to be doing this all your life, but Mychal was telling me you wrote a book. Talk to me about the book.
I will. Okay. So it's called From My Heart to Yours. It's a
Mm-hmm.
30-day devotional, and I'll show you guys. Hopefully you can see it.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I
Okay.
can see it. I
So
can see it.
it's a 30-day devotional. So I guess you want me just to explain a little bit of how it got started, how it got to this point,
Oh,
or
I
absolutely.
want you, yeah, the whole nine, and how can people buy the book? Where can they go see it? How do they contact you? The whole nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
Self promote
everything.
yourself.
okay.
Yeah, self
Okay,
promotion.
so bear with me. Bear with me. So I've always thought about making journals. I love to write. I love journals and I love books. Like I'm always buying a book. I literally just bought Sarah Jakes Roberts' new book. I don't know if you guys know her, TD Jakes' daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I just got books. So anyways, I love books, I love journals. So I always say, I would want to, create a journal, something that people can write in and express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought that I could do it. So you know how you have a thought and an
Mm-hmm.
idea, but you're not, everything around you is moving. You don't think to execute it.
Right.
And I will thank the pandemic for this as well, because I feel like it allowed us to kind of take a step back and really become, entrepreneurs and different things of that nature.
Right.
So fast forward, I experienced losing one of my childhood best friends,
Sorry to hear
friends
that.
since 5th grade. And prior to that, I literally was on the phone with my friend. I was coming back from New York, literally the night before she passed away.
Mm.
And I said, I feel disconnected from God. Like I feel something's off. I feel like I'm praying, but he's not hearing me. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was going to church and I was living, but I was just stuck. Like it was just something stuck.
Right.
So fast forward, lost my best friend, and I just needed something tangible to like hold on to. So prior to that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start doing nails just to try to come up with the business throughout the pandemic. I love nails. I love looking at nails. I love for people to just make nails look super fly. So I'm like, all right, well, let me try to do that.
Okay.
So actually, well, I'm not going to bring the person's name up.
It's okay.
So,
Self promotion. Go ahead. Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
I didn't have a great experience, so I'm
Oh,
not
then
going to bring the
don't bring
person's
the
name
name up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never would want to bash anyone. So I reached out to this person and I said, I just wanted to talk about business, how I can market, how I can, advance me doing nails, right? So I
Right.
was expressing, a little bit of my history, kind of where I came from, some of my trauma, my experiences, and then also in addition, losing my friend and different things of that nature. So the person said, I hear you saying you want to do nails, but why don't you just write a book? And I'm sitting here like, what? I didn't call you for that.
Right.
I'm talking
How
about
dare you give me
nails and
advice? Yeah. Yeah.
no, literally, I was shocked. I'm like, a book? I said, yeah, he's like, have you thought about it? Yeah, I've thought about like journals and stuff, nothing like deep or anything like that. So then the person goes, well, you could do a book, a devotional, and a journal. I'm like, wow, 3 things? Yeah, you could be published in 30 days, whatever. I'm like,
Trifecta.
wow, that's big.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big. So at that time, I ran with it. I was experiencing, still even going through the grieving process,
Mm-hmm.
trying to just have something tangible to kind of keep my mind focused. I ran with it and I did it. And I created this devotional in 3 weeks.
Mm.
I read
Wow.
it so many
That's right.
times. I read it so many times, but I created it in 3 weeks. I didn't publish it until December, but we will not get into that. But it finally came, it was published, and this devotional, I, called it From My Heart to Yours because it's talking about some of my life experiences. So not
Right.
necessarily, when I was 5, I went through blah, 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 but more so as an adult and dealing with life challenges. So because of the things that I've experienced, I felt like I lost my voice at a very young age. Very quiet. Um, Not to say that I didn't have a rough side to me, but things that happened, I couldn't express myself, especially, within the last 10 years of my life, couldn't express myself, always wanted to people please. Not being consistent, not having confidence, I literally had no idea who I was as a person or who God wanted me to be. So I said, okay, well, let me create something to kind of help people come out of it or to avoid it. So that's another reason too why I wanted to do the nonprofit, because we don't have to wait until I'm just going to throw I'm 29 years old. We don't have to wait until we're 29 years old to say, I'm going to change or I'm going to shift. Granted, there's no time limit to anything, but I'd rather reach them young. So that way they can avoid a lot of the things that I've experienced or I've dealt with. And not even, I'm not perfect, even the things that I've inflicted on other people, so I talk about that too in the book. Like, we're not perfect. I am very spiritual. My belief is in God. So I talk a lot about that in my devotional. There's going to be a scripture every day. There's going to be a worship song to go with the scripture. And then I'm just pretty much giving some words of encouragement. And I'm also providing people an opportunity to jot down their ideas, their thoughts, their words to God. So just, having that reflection as well. But it's basically just to build, self-esteem, confidence, and having a voice, and just creating a legacy worth living for, basically. So that sums it up.
Okay. Hey. Wow. Yeah, that's a heck of a sum right there. Well, you used to say part A and part B together. That's a big cake right there. I was gonna say, within the pandemic, it made you become a dream chaser, because the person gave you an idea and a vision. And I think, for me, I believe that when you pray to God doesn't ignore you. God's like, okay, I hear you. Just wait, here it comes. And then God uses people to be a blessing, God blesses people to be a blessing to other people. And what ends up happening is the person that you went to talking about business was blessed to have you come into their store to want to do business with them. And he was like, nah, man, this isn't you. You need to do this. And that was God speaking into that person, talking to you. And because I've always struggled with that. Like, man, God, why you ain't talking to me? Like, I need the heavens to part. I need you to stick your head out and be like, hey, Jason, go do something. Yeah.
And like, what's so crazy though? So I'm just learning this. So even though I'm a believer, it took me so many years, I'm telling you, to get that confidence. You're not only getting that confidence within yourself, but you're gaining it in God too. Yeah. God, he may not be talking like how we're talking, right? But he will give you an idea or something, and that is him literally speaking to you. Yeah. Literally. Literally.
But you have to be ready to hear it, to understand it, to know that that's who's talking to you. Because there could be some people like in your ear giving you some fraganacal bull jive, and you go out there and run and be like, oh Lord, that's not it. But also,
or people telling you, oh, you can't do it. It's not the time, or you sure you? I done heard it all, and it's in the book. I'm telling you. And
it's a good thing when you heard that message, you move. Most people hear something, they sit on it for a while. You know what I'm saying? They might not just move, but you moved on it. 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing.
Yeah, 3 weeks, man.
Thank you.
You went to work on that thing in 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
And everything. And I know I said I wasn't going to get into it, and I'm not, because I never bash. I'm never going to bash anyone's character. That was a blessing. That person was a blessing, literally, because they were a part of my journey. Like, I wouldn't be here without that. You know what I'm saying? Without me reaching out, without them giving that support. Like, that was such a blessing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and a lot of times what happens is people tell you can't do something because it's never been done. Doesn't mean it can't be done. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that the person that you told that dream to hasn't done it, can't fathom it being done. Because, like, it's funny. Me and Mychal talked about a podcast and like 2-3 months ago, and look at us now.
No, so I have to definitely shout you guys out. I've watched a couple of them. Amazing. The format, the setup, even down to the flyer. I'm like, oh, this is fly. I got to get connected with whoever's making these flyers.
Yeah.
Mychal, you making them?
Young and talented right there.
You know, a little something,
okay.
Okay,
we got
to
talk.
See this logo? Logos? You see the logo?
Yes.
Yeah. Young and talented.
I love it. I love it. You guys keep great conversation, great questions. Sorry, I just had to shout you guys out. I love
I
it.
appreciate the love. And because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then I remember us talking about podcasts at the beginning of the year. You got yours jumping, which is dope. Like, tell us about your podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
So it's kind of at a standstill right now, but I will definitely give you some feedback on it. So my friend and I, well, I call her we call each other sister friends. So that's the name of the podcast, Sister Friends.
Okay.
We started it. We came up with the idea just to pretty much talk about life. You know, we've experienced a lot of the same things. We've been through life. We've been through things, you know, growing up. So we just felt like, you know, why not be a voice? Why not be a support for other people as well? So we did our first podcast, and that was pretty much just introducing ourselves. What does Sister Friends mean? So we went into that, and it was so funny because in my mind, I'm like, well, 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. We was on there for like an hour and a half, and we was just talking. So it was great conversation. I think we learned a lot, you know, about each other in that, you know, podcast in that moment. But she's actually an author as well. So she just came out with her book as well. And it's called, you know, I Know What It's Like. So we pretty much have these projects that we're working on, and we haven't really had the time to just come together and be consistent the way we want to be consistent, but we're going to get back on it for sure.
I already know.
Yeah.
Because y'all dropped the first episode though. Didn't you? And that was dope. I listened to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm definitely excited about that. I'm definitely excited for you to get back in the groove on that podcast, and I'm definitely shout you out.
Hey, maybe we'll get it. Maybe they'll ask us to be on their podcast, Mike. Maybe we'll get.
Of course.
Maybe we'll get invited, man. Yeah.
You know, we
most
meet
definitely
some brother friends or the sister friends show. You know,
hey, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, who knows, man?
I love it. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So tell me this.
Listen, you can't forget where you come from. You cannot forget about people. You cannot. I think that's so important.
Yeah. People make the world go around, and good people give you good positive vibes. Bad people give you a lot of education. And so
right.
We need more good. We need more good people and positive vibes.
So I'm learning that too. It's very important. Very important.
Yeah. It's a learning process every day. You learn something new. So tell me, what is the one thing you've learned through this process of writing your book, chasing dreams, doing the podcast, being an outstanding, super duper social worker? Tell me the one thing that you've learned over this time frame, 6 months, a year. What's the one thing that you've learned through this time?
The first thing that comes to mind is being consistent.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a second one, not giving up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
I literally, I'll say, lived most of my 20s. I mean, of course, as you're growing, as you become a teenager, young adult, you're learning. You don't know everything, right?
Right.
But I literally have had dreams. I've had thoughts. I've had visions, and literally because of my own, you know, self-doubt and other people's doubt in me, I never thought that I could do stuff. I thought the most that I could do was go to school, get a good job, and you know, just try to be as wealthy as I can be. But there are other things to life. I'm not saying that you don't have to go to school. Of course, you know, if you want to go to school, but there are so many other things in life where you can be successful, and not just be successful, because one of the things that I've told myself and God throughout this journey is it's not all about the money. It's not. Of course, if I make a sale, that's amazing. But who am I reaching? Is this book helping someone? If I open this nonprofit organization, who is going to benefit from it?
Exactly. What's your target
What is
market?
the reasoning behind it? Right. So that's just what I'm big on. And just making sure that I'm not doing anything that's out of his plan. Like, not, of course, something that I want to do. Like, he knows my heart, he knows our passion, but making sure that it's the right step, it's the right thing to do, and at the right time. I've had people hit me up like, I feel like you're talking to me, like, you know, as they're reading the devotional, and I'm like, that's what I want. I literally gave a free book to someone just because I felt to do it and they were blessed by it. Like, I love that kind of stuff. It's not all about the money or what do you call it?
It's
like
free publicity for me.
self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Self-gratification.
Or like self-satisfaction. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to gain from it. I want people to feel good.
I agree. Absolutely. I agree.
And I mean, see, and I think that's important. You know what I'm saying? That's why I see, because I linked up with a guy too when I had nonprofit goals and stuff like that. And trying to build this nonprofit, trying to do this. I mean, just the passion I have for it is it's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a nonprofit, of course, you're not making money from it, but just helping people and
right
is one of the most important things we can do in this world, just to make it a better place. So I can definitely feel you on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think to me, when you're working with a population that is, I'll say hopeless or helpless or voiceless, and you know that you can't, to me, the biggest thing is if you're helping somebody and there's no reciprocal value that they're going to give you, to me, there's bigger than monetary value, because you're doing something for somebody that can't do something back for you. And to me, I equate that back to when Jesus washed his disciples' feet. And I'm like, yo, that was an act of selfless servanthood, because like he like, hey, come on, man, you ain't gotta. I know if I had been, I'd be like, come on, man, you ain't gotta wash my feet, Jesus. I've been walking all day. This sand, my feet are musty. I'm dirty. Come on, this is so beneath you.
You know,
yeah. But to just do that, and oh my gosh, that just in that mindset, and now you're doing something for somebody like they can't pay you back for what you did. Like that person that got the book, they might not have been able to afford the book, but the benefit of the book makes a big difference. And to me, we got to get you in contact with that guy, with that nonprofit, man, because that's gonna be huge.
Thank you.
I think so too.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, yeah, we're gonna get you right. We definitely gonna get you right. We're at a point where we're kind of bringing this thing to a close, but we always ask our guests, you know what I'm saying, which you are amazing. I appreciate you coming on, because we go way back, like four flats.
Thank
and you know, and it's and like I said in the beginning, it's great to see the growth. It's great to see where you've come. And you know what I'm saying, I see us doing some things in the future, especially when you get up with the guy, you know what I'm saying.
Oh my God,
we're gonna do some great things together. But I want you to just give a word to the people for them and their journey, just some encouragement, something you want to leave, some gems, some good nuggets for us before we end this thing. Definitely.
Okay, well, I first want to thank you guys for having me. It was very nice to meet you, Jason. Great seeing you, Mychal. I'm excited to work with you guys in the future. I'm always down for networking and supporting. Just to leave a word for the people, I would definitely just say put God first. I don't know what anyone's beliefs are or religion or whatever the case may be, but you definitely need something to hold on to in this life that we have. We only have one life to live. Time just seems to be going by fast. You know, do what it is that you love. Do not let anybody hinder you. It does not matter what you've been through in life. You don't have to stay stuck of where you've been or what you've come from. You can be better. You can be a better person. You can help someone else who has experienced what you have experienced. There's so much to life, and there's so many different things that you can do. Just because I wrote a book, that doesn't mean somebody else can't. Like, I encourage everybody to write a book, because we all been through something. I welcome everyone to jump on the journey to do something, whether it be creating journals, calendars, pins, whatever it is. Do what it is that you love, and just create a legacy worth living for.
Oh, I mean, I told you she was going to drop some nuggets, man. I just felt that thing coming, man. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Gonna call it
and talking about authors,
Appleseed.
My guy Jason is an author too. You know what I'm saying? Talking about authors, he got a good book too. He got something.
Really?
I was surprised. Like, I didn't think the way it was gonna go, it went, but I mean, it was dope. It was so dope, man. It was so dope.
So you have a book, Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
I need it. So put the link, put the information
I
somewhere.
got you. I will send it to
Got
you.
you.
I will
Yeah,
send it to
yeah.
you.
Please.
Definitely, definitely.
So my book is the ebook, so it's not. I ain't as dope as you get the paperback Joan. You know,
Paperback.
yeah,
Yeah,
man, yeah.
Ebook is fine. I'll still read it.
Okay, all right, okay, all right,
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of I Am the Change podcast, brought to you by Dream to Reality, a nonprofit organization geared toward inspiring, uplifting, and empowering communities all over the world. Thank you for our wonderful guest, Ms. Dayna Haskins, who is an author, who is a social worker, who's doing great things in this world. Please check out her book, My Heart to Yours. How can they get in contact with it? How can they get the book?
They can just go to my page, Dayna B Haskins or Bianca Dayna. I'll send you the information. Or you can go to my website, www.daynabhaskins.org, and you can order it that way. I'm on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook.
Wow.
DM me, don't be shy.
We'll link that information in the description below, so you can click and go straight to the page. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you. Please like and subscribe. If this is not your first time, thank you for rocking with us, and join us next week, same time, same place. And remember, the goal is not to be better than anybody, but together we can achieve better for everybody. Thank you, and have a good night.
All right.
Bye.